You see the difference? One of those is being stuck in the past, hanging on to something that's gone. The other one is learning from your mistakes and moving forward. Whether it's because of mistakes that we've made that we wish we could take back or good times that we wish we could relive, living in the past is inherently a resistance and a lack of acceptance to the fact that it's gone. You can't go back. You can't go back and relive those mistakes that you've made and correct them. You can't relive those experiences that you had that you wish you could kind of stay in forever. The glory days in high school when you were the quarterback of the football team before you got locked down into your dead-end job, as an example. I'm not saying this is you, but you get the point that I'm trying to make. So whether it is negatively motivated or positively motivated, living in the past, it is inherently going to bring you suffering. And it is inherently a resistance to moving on. There's a part of you that doesn't want to accept the fact that you need to move on. That doesn't mean you can't cherish memories in your heart or learn from mistakes. But if you're spending time living in the past, it's going to drain you and it's going to make you suffer when you come back to reality and realize that that thing that you're clinging on to, it's like it's sand through your fingers. It's just slipping away as soon as you grab it. So let's talk about living in the past, trying to undo mistakes. So an example of this is if I had done A differently than B. This probably sounds pretty familiar to you. I think most of us have had this thought pattern at least once or twice. And if you're someone who struggles with living in the past, maybe multiple times every day. Here's the problem with this. You're living in a fantasy land when you do this, when you theorize what could have happened. If I chose a different career path when I first came out of high school, then I would have been much more successful. And now you're thinking about this hypothetical version of reality that doesn't exist, and you have nowhere to go from there. If I had treated her differently, if I had recognized what I had while I still had it, she wouldn't have left me. Again, perhaps true, but now you're thinking about Fantasyland, a current version of reality, which is completely a hypothetical that is not here now. So that's the problem with this thinking, but it's not all bad. Part of thinking this way is actually a part of you that's trying to be solution-oriented as well. So we need to reorganize the way that we think about the past so that we can learn from mistakes, but not live in a hypothetical fantasy land and ruminate on these problems without any tangible action steps to move forward. So in one of those examples that I gave of if I knew what I had while I had it, I would have treated her differently and she wouldn't have left me. Well, perhaps you can let that person know that that's how you feel and that maybe you want a second chance. If it is denied, so be it. You have to move on. And now you can act accordingly with the lesson that you just learned without staying stuck in the past and holding a bunch of regret in your heart. You can't change the past. This is always true. So don't act like you can and do all these hypothetical thought experiments. If I had done this differently, then things would be better. No, learn from your mistakes instead. I recognize that that's not the way that I should be treating someone I'm in a relationship with. Going forward, I won't. I'll treat them better. You see the difference? One of those is being stuck in the past, hanging on to something that's gone. The other one is learning from your mistakes and moving forward. So don't get stuck in the fantasy trap where you just ruminate and waste your life in idea land, in fantasy land from a hypothetical present that would have existed if you behaved differently in the past. You see how ridiculous this is when I say it all out loud? It's not worth your time. It's not worth your energy. And ruminating like that is going to rob you of actually having the mental faculties and energy to recognize how you can move forward and process the emotional pain involved with letting go, which could be a whole other video. All right, now I'm going to talk about hanging on to the past when it's positively motivated, right? Staying stuck in thinking about your glory days. We're going to take the same approach. You have to let go of the past, but you can still use the past information to learn and move forward accordingly. So in this case, it's not learning from your mistakes because it's things that you enjoyed about your life. So in this case, it's kind of a retrospective analysis of coming to understand yourself a little better and knowing what it is that you really value and maybe you should have a little bit more of in your life. Maybe you had a lot of community in those glory days. Maybe you were in better shape and you were more confident. And then the years went by and you let yourself get out of shape and you lost that confidence a bit. And now you can recognize, you know what, I should get back into shape. I felt really good about myself when I was that guy, and now I'm not that guy anymore. I'm going to shift my identity back to somebody who exercises and who is confident and who is very physically capable, just as an example. All right, guys, stop living in the past. It does nothing for you. You can enjoy fond memories and learn from your mistakes, but living in the past and not letting go of what is behind you is just going to create more suffering and stop you from moving forward. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe to my channel for more helpful content and check out the links in my description below for a free coaching call with me and a free life audit workbook designed by yours truly. It's a great tool. I personally use one, and I figured I'd give it to you guys as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.